I want to do a quick hit video about multiple stories that I could do an individual video for each one of these stories, but there's not enough meat on the bone really to try to make these individual videos. I try not to make these videos too long. I've been making them longer than usual here lately. I'm trying to get better at that. But anyway, these are all from boundinthecomics.com. I'll link them in the description box. Marvel Studios officially pivoting away from Kang. Decision reportedly made in response to poor performance of Ant-Man 3 and not Jonathan Majors' legal trouble. Not really surprising if you've seen Ant-Man 3 or if you haven't seen Ant-Man 3. The way that Kang is done, it's not menacing. He's not like Jonathan Majors is a good actor, but the way they did the character, really didn't care for him. Basically, spoiler alert, being beaten by Ant-Man and a bunch of freaking ants and stuff. That was kind of ridiculous. It's like he's supposed to be the next Thanos. He's supposed to be the next big bad. And you have him get beaten like that. Anyway, moving on. There's a story here. Warner Brothers Discovery Insider says David Zaslav's recent spending spree meant to boost company's value ahead of likely sale. I could also see them going with like a merger. It's hard to say because a lot of these places, it's not just Warner Brothers. It's a lot of like places in Hollywood. Things are bombing. Movies aren't doing well. Budgets are out of control. It's crazy. Streaming services, they're still losing money. At least some of them are. They're losing subscribers. Yeah, yeah, that goes on and on. It's not looking good, but we'll see. TBD, to be determined in terms of that. James Gunn may open the door for the arrival of Captain Atom to the DCU. Okay, I mean, if you're a Captain Atom fan, that might be interesting, but if you're a DC fan, you're probably not too interested in James Gunn running things. But anyway, fueling rumors of friction with Sony, Dakota Johnson says she hasn't watched Madam Web and probably won't. I would say most people are in that category because that movie's bombing pretty bad. Just like that Argyle movie. It's not mentioned here, but both of those movies. Now, I will say that the saving grace for both of those movies is that their budgets was reportedly 80 million, which is like great news because it means that they're not going to lose as much money. Because some of these movies come out and you're like, it's got a $200 million budget, and you're like, what the hell they spend all that money on? Anyway, moving on, Rachel Zegler bafflingly chose over Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves to win Action Movie Star of the Year at the 2024 People's Choice Awards. People's Choice Awards, for those who don't know, I imagine most people do. Plus, it's pretty obvious. It's like a fan vote, it's a popularity contest. Like I think it's kind of, like kind of a crazy thing to choose her, over Tom Cruise or Keanu Reeves or whatever. But they would probably say the same thing. She was in the Hunger Games movie, by the way, if you didn't happen to kind of remember, because that movie kind of came and went like a fart in church. Not really talked about much. But anyway, Across the Spider-Verse production designer reveals rejected pitch for animated Batman Beyond film. Looked really cool, but they were told that there was no chance that it was a never. It was never going to happen before they even made the pitch. But they went ahead and did it. I guess probably maybe to get some feedback or experience or whatever. But it did say that it kind of got changed to a maybe, basically. Anyway, moving on to some TV stories real quick. The CW exec confirms Warner Brothers Discovery forced cancellation of Superman and Lois in order to bump box office hopes of Superman Legacy. Not really sure if that's going to be possible, to be honest. It's like, I don't know, because they were basically saying that they didn't want to have two things going at the same time in terms of the having a Superman TV show and a Superman movie. I see where they're coming from. I get that. But, it's kind of unfortunate if you were a fan of the series and stuff. I watched it in the beginning, kind of fell off some, but anyway. Then an opinion piece here: why Hollywood doesn't know how to adapt Halo. Very simple. Halo requires, Master Chief to keep his helmet on at all times, basically. And Hollywood has this fixation that if you are doing something in terms of any kind of adaptation, you have to show the face. They have these like rules. Sometimes, and some of them are like kind of uh, forgotten over the years. People don't pay much attention, but a lot of times, like, good guy on the left of the screen, bad guy on the right. Don't have like things showing up in front of the people as they're talking. You always have to have a close up of this certain angle when they're talking and this and all this other kind of stuff. And it's just ridiculous. Master Chief, and sometimes like they had that Judge Dredd movie with Carl Urban, which was a really, really good movie. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. If you have seen it, you'd say, hell yeah, it's an awesome movie. But anyway, he didn't take his helmet off in the entire movie, basically. They didn't show his face. The movie didn't do very well at the box office. Unfortunately, it sucks. Happens though. And some people would see, that's why they didn't show his face. And it's like, I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think there's a multitude of reasons why. But anyway, I think that's why they don't know how to adapt Halo, because they don't know how to get out of their box of this is how you make movies. This is the only way you make movies. These are the angles you use. This is the camera shot, so on and so forth. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. There are a few more articles to kind of talk about, but talking about X-Men 97 having Morph as non-binary, or Frank Grillo talking about Marvel, how about how he jumped from Marvel to DC and they blew it and so on and so forth. Again, these are all articles and stuff that I couldn't really make an individual video about. So I figured I'd just kind of lump them all together, see what happens. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.